Right now, it is a good day to be a Seattle Seahawks fan like myself and just like yourself. Welcome into Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner, and we need to preview this week's matchup between the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams, who are both sitting atop the NFC West. Right now, the Seahawks just have a couple of tiebreakers that put themselves over the Rams, but not only is the winner of this game going to take over the first place in the NFC West all by themselves, but they're also going to end up probably right around that number 2 spot in the NFC playoff picture. Get ready for an absolute war. This is an old school rock'em, sock'em, knock'em out type of football game. You're seeing, I believe, the 2 best teams in the NFL, and they are going to go to war. And I don't think that I'm the only person in this game that sees this as the best 2 teams in the NFL. J.B. Long himself came out and tweeted this. The Seahawks, 7-2, they have not trailed since week 6, falling behind 6-0 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know if you know this. It's going to be week 11. So you really haven't trailed for about a month as the Seattle Seahawks. The Rams, they haven't trailed since week 6 when they were behind 3-0 in Baltimore. At one point, at least one of these teams will trail for the first time since week 6. I view this game as a matchup like the old school Seahawks and 49ers matchups back when Pete and Jim hated each other. Their teams hated each other. Richard Sherman went after Michael Crabtree. Vernon Davis got absolutely shellacked by Cam Chancellor on the sideline, which was a legal hit. It's stupid that it got flagged. I want everyone to know you need to be ready for war. Get the eye black on. Get the face paint ready. I need to see a lot of TDs like this one from Jackson Smith and Jigba because I think your Seahawks are going to have to go out and score some points in this one. It's going to be a matchup between 2 really good defenses, but I still believe, and this is a crazy concept, the team that scores the most TDs on Sunday more than likely is going to win the games. That's not always the case. Sometimes you score 1 TD, the other team kicks 1,000 field goals. I think there's going to be more than 1 TD scored by both teams. Make sure that you subscribe for Seahawks Dubs. Sub for Seahawks Dubs because you want the Seahawks to win this game. Go to 8-2 on the season. Have that sole possession of the NFC West all by themselves and really cement themselves as the best team in the West when it comes to the NFC. Now, the first thing we have to do is look at the injury report for your Seattle Seahawks because I'll tell you right now, it is aggressive. I don't want to say that you're as injured as the San Francisco 49ers, but it took me a long time. I think I have carpal tunnel now when I was making this graphic here that we're going to toss up on the screen. These are your key Seattle Seahawks that are injured. Jalen Sundell, he ain't going to go in this one. We got news early on this week that knee injury from him, while it isn't going to be season-ending, he isn't going to be back anytime soon. Ernest Jones, everyone keep their fingers crossed. No true timetable, but he's working his way back. Torrey Horton, same thing. Josh Jobe, same thing. Keep your fingers crossed for those guys. Jake Bobo, he's another guy where hopefully he's back. I think he could be a key contributor. And then your last 3 guys, I have them as your last 3 guys on purpose because they are all on IR. Reed, Young, and Julian Love, they will not be available to play in this game. I don't know if you realize this, but that is a gigantic injury report as far as the NFL is concerned. You have 8 players, 8 key contributors. I mean, shoot, most of those guys are true blue starters for you that are on your injury report and are not going to be able to go. When you look at your opponent, it is a much different type of injury report because right now, there ain't a whole lot of guys that are on the injury report for the Los Angeles Rams, and 3 of the guys on that injury report, well, they're already on injured reserve. You're not going to see Atwell. You're not going to see Witherspoon. You're not going to see Thomas. They've all been on IR for quite some time. Now, Devontae Adams, he obviously came up a little lame against the San Francisco 49ers. Head coach Sean McVay did say that if the game was a little closer, he probably would have let Adams go back in there and give it a run. So I fully expect to see him out there in action on Sunday. What does that mean for your Seahawks? Well, shoot, your corners better come loaded for bear and be ready to go after it because I think the Rams have the second best wide receiver in the 2025 NFL season right now, and that, of course, is Puka Nacua. And then Devontae Adams, I mean, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, so you better be ready to go. Now, I don't think that the key matchup is going to be between the Seahawks cornerbacks and the Rams wide receivers. I think it's going to go through the Seattle Seahawks offensive line and the defensive line of the Rams in the passing attack and in the running attack in this one. Now, what I think is important to mention when it comes to the Rams, they have two guys that are not afraid to get after the passer. Byron Young and Jared Verse are scary good right now with what they have been able to do. Now, a lot of people will remember Verse when he came out of Florida State. He was one of those players that grew up as his college career went on. He was kind of like a Marcus Camby, if you will. Got into college, grew a little bit, got a little bit stronger, got a little bit tougher, got a little bit meaner. We're going to dive into why him and Young are going to be very scary for your Seattle Seahawks. But before we do that, I need to get into today's sponsor, and that, of course, is our good friends over at PrizePicks. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. The hard-hitting football action is even better with PrizePicks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on PrizePicks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. PrizePicks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on any 2 to 6 player stat projections. And if your picks are right, you could cash in. PrizePicks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. PrizePicks is the best way to win cash this football season. Which players are going off, which ones are overhyped? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on PrizePicks. I have a little 3-pick power play for the action this weekend. JSN, he's getting more on his rush receiving TDs. Matthew Stafford, less on his passing yards. And Sam Darnold, more on his passing yards. Love our boys. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. I cannot reiterate this enough. Young and Verse are freaking terrifying for an offensive line crew. So far this year, the duo has combined not only for 13 sacks, but 16 TFLs. They continue to get in the backfield, and they play on opposite ends of each other. Verse is more of a power guy. Young is going to run around you, and Young has had a very impressive year so far, one of the top sack guys in the NFL. They both create their own problems for your Seattle Seahawks offensive tackles. Now, Cross and Lucas have had an extremely good season so far, and they are going to be the key players in this game for your Seahawks. Can you keep Sam Darnold upright? When you've been able to do that, he has absolutely thrived, picking apart defenses game after game after game. And what's most important in the Clint Kubiak system? Finding a way to keep defenses honest with the run game. I'm not saying that you have to go run for 134 or 200 like you did against the Arizona Cardinals. I just need you to run well enough to keep this defense honest. If those two can get the edge, let Kenneth Walker get a big run, maybe Zach Charbonnet get a big run or two, the Seahawks are going to be in a good position. I want you to let me know down below in the comments, what is your score prediction for this game? I always come prepared in my previews with my own prediction, but I think that you should do a little homework yourself as well. It also lets me know, are Seahawks fans confident or are they a little bit nervous? Let me know what your score prediction for this game is down below in the comments. My prediction, Seahawks getting the victory, 24-21. Don't be shocked if Jason Myers has to hit another late second field goal for your Seattle Seahawks. I mean, shoot, remember the game in Lumen? If he was able to knock one through, Seattle would have beat the Rams last year and honestly would have made the playoffs. First team ever in the expanded playoff era to not get into the postseason with 10 wins. I think the Seahawks are going to get it done. I'm pretty confident, I would say, for a game of this magnitude and a game that is going to be this close. Let me know, like I said, in the comments, if you're confident like me, or if you're a little more nervous. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Of course, we are going to be live an hour before the game. You're not going to want to miss out. You're going to want to join in on the watch party with us. We have a great time. And, of course, this isn't a home game, so you're not going to be able to be out at Lumen Field hanging out with the rest of the 12s. come hang out with us. It's the best spot to watch the game if you don't have an opportunity to be there. And throughout the week, there's always breaking news when it comes to your Seattle Seahawks. Hopefully we get some good injury news this time, and I'm not giving you videos on X or posting messages on X about this new Seahawks player is injured and out for this game. Hopefully I'm posting new tweets that are saying, hey, this Seahawks player is going to be ready to go on Sunday. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Go Hawks. We need this victory against the Rams, and I can't wait to see you guys next time.